Yeah, good evening all. It's good to see two or three faces that I do recognise, and I'd like to thank the ICEHOUSE for the challenge they've set, because on the course I have the benefit of 2 blocks with the participants that come along, which is a total of 8 hours, so I've now got 5 minutes to condense that, so we'll see how we go. As Liz said, I've done 17 owner manager programs now, so I've seen nearly 430, 450 businesses, and yes, there are a lot of similarities. So I'm going to touch on just a couple of the things that I think really resonate with the businesses that we present to. A lot of the companies that we work with, it's all about the customer connection. We work with everything from large corporates, the Beckers, the Fletcher Buildings of this world, right through to small startups. And they're as diverse as what you guys are in the room here today. We've got fashion brands, we've got refrigerated transport, we've got hardware, and everything in between. You're all different, but there's some key principles to growing a business that do apply. So what I'm going to do, and I start every session with this question, I'm going to ask a quick show of hands. Who is planning to grow their business in the year ahead and beyond? Yep, every hand always goes up. Keep your hand up, even though they're all down. Hands up. Who's planning to grow their business more than 2%? Hands still up? Okay, that's great, because the long-term average of New Zealand economy's growth is 2% year on year. So all of you are saying we want to grow faster than the New Zealand economy. The tough thing that we've learned about SMEs, and we've done a study in the last year, in fact, Glenn, who's going to stand up in a minute and talk, he was part of this study, in fact that's his document. Only a third, or 70% of New Zealand businesses don't have a business plan. We don't actually proactively sit down and figure out how we're going to get growth. We wish growth, but we don't really figure out how we're going to drive growth. So that's something that we're passionate about, and we set that sort of tone, I suppose, in the ICEHOUSE. And when we talk growth, we generally talk one of or all of 3 basic principles. Finding more profitable customers, building your existing customers to being more profitable, and keeping profitable customers. So find, build, keep profitable customers. And from what we've learned, most businesses aren't brilliant at all 3 of those, and if you're no good at keeping them, you damn well better be good at finding them. And that's the whole thing we're constantly evolving our businesses into being. How do we find, build and keep profitable customers? So my 2 blocks on the ICEHOUSE really cover what I call customer-led growth. I'm not there talking about manufacturing efficiencies or HR issues or IT or productivity. I'm talking about the growth you can get from by better connecting with customers. So we cover off marketing fundamentals, brand fundamentals, and how to better connect with customers. And there's some key principles irrespective of what your business is. Now pick a growth target. Some of you might say, I want to double revenue, I might want to enter Australia, I want to be a franchise business, whatever. Might want to double my bottom line. Pick your target. Where's that growth going to come from? Because the easy bit's picking the number. I want to go from 5 mil to 10 mil, 10 mil to 50 mil, 50 mil to 100 mil, want to have 50 franchises. That's easy. The number's easy. Who's going to choose your business? So just take a minute. You've got a pen and paper in front of your hand. Take 20 seconds, in fact, because that's all you've got. 20 seconds, write down with clarity, who is my ideal target market customer for growth? Some of you will find that really easy, and some of you will be going, I haven't really thought about that. I haven't got clarity on who my ideal target market customer for growth is. And the reality is that with customer-led growth, it starts with answering that question, with getting clarity on it. Where's the real opportunity in the market for us to focus and target our efforts so that we can win business with those kind of people? If we don't have clarity on who our target market customer is, where do we put our resources and efforts into? We can't build a brand for everyone. We end up being a brand for no one. So that's a key thing we try and cover off on the course, really starting with who's our target market customer for growth. And really it's about getting clarity in that. And if we don't have that clarity, the fundamentals aren't in place. Another big thing we look to cover off on my sessions is this thing called brand. And I haven't got enough time to go into that big complex issue, but we always get asked it by businesses like yourself. My brand, why is it working, why isn't it, what is a brand, etc. I'm not going to answer that right now. But what I do want to do is just get you to do a short little exercise. Again, pen and paper. I want you to write down the first thing that comes into your mind when I say these words. Disney. Paris. Mazda. Sonny Bill Williams. Steady, ladies. Volvo. Now write down your brand. and the first thing that you use to describe it. Don't write your name, write what it is a descriptor. Some of you would have found that really easy to write down very simple things for some of those brands. Volvo, most of you would have put what? Safe, square, boxy, solid, quality, whatever. Mazda, what did most of you put? Car and Zoom Zoom. Great. Who wants to be known for car? I think Volvo's got the edge on them there. Now, some of you, Sonny Bill, yep, like him, hate him, whatever. Smart. Dollars. Abs. Like him, hate him. The point is, you guys do the branding and you do it very succinctly. How succinct were you on how you branded your own business? And if you think about that target market that I asked you about just 2 minutes ago, who you really go for, are they clear on what your brand stands for? The point is, if you're not, how can they be? And they're the ones that have to make the choice. Do I choose you or do I choose the competitor? You've got to be clear on the reasons why they choose you. So on the course, what we try and do is challenge some of those fundamentals. Do you have clarity? We can't give you the answers, but we can challenge you to get clarity. So hopefully, if you're engaged in talking to the team here, you'll come along and be willing for that challenge, and we'll be enjoying to tell you how you might be able to think that through better. Thanks, guys.
Just a little bit about me. I'm an accountant. We run a firm in Pukekohe of chartered accountants. There's about 50 of us there, a bit over that. I've got 4 partners. We've been around for 90 years in Pukekohe, and we think we're pretty good at what we do. But I thought I might talk a little bit about why I went on the course in the first place, and then what I got out of it. Because going back to 2009, which is when I was on OMP 18, our business looked a little bit differently. I'd just recently become the managing director. The reason I'd become the managing director was there was 6 partners at that stage, and the place was in chaos and no one else wanted the job. So, So it wasn't a good place to be, really. And I'd heard a lot about the ICEHOUSE and heard good things about the ICEHOUSE. And I was trying to struggle with 5 partners that were all going in different directions, and I needed help. So I went and did the course, and I have to say it was life-changing, and I would absolutely recommend it to anybody, anytime. And, I'm still getting lots and lots and lots out of what started back in 2009. And, come and talk to me later if you like, and I can tell you a bit about what we did, but it was fantastic. So, really what I went on the course for was I had lots of ideas and lots of things I wanted to do, but of course at that stage I wasn't high in confidence because everyone else had different ideas about what they wanted to do. And really I went to the course to try and get some confirmation that what I was trying to do was the right thing to do, and I could go back and say, see, I told you so, let's do it. And I suppose at the end of the day that's what it did do for me. And number one point, what I got out of the course, the very most important thing of the lot was courage, because you kind of get in that environment, you're there every week with people who are going through the same stuff. We had some excellent speakers come in, and they all seemed to be talking just to me and my problems, but they're all the same as everybody else's anyway. So you kind of understand what you need to achieve, and I went away and I knew the stuff I had to do, and I just made it happen. And I don't think I'd have had the courage to make the changes we made without it. And we did radically change our business. I mean, we were pretty traditional accountants, you bring your work in, it sits on the shelf for 3 months. 3 months later we might start it, and it takes us 3 months to do it. So after 6 months you might get it back. By then we've stung you an arm and a leg for it, and you're pretty unhappy, but you've got no choice because that's what we're all like. And that's... but that's pretty traditional in our industry. We're a pretty backward-looking industry, not a forward-looking industry. So we did a lot of stuff. Like we did a lot of work with our staff, and I think the ICEHOUSE Owner Manager program it talks a lot about the people in your business. So we did a lot of work with our staff. We initiated something called a 10-day turnaround, so that when we wanted your work, we'd get your work in when we needed it, or when you needed it really, and we'd turn it around in 10 days. Now we're not 10 days, we're about 16 or 17 days, but it's way less than it used to be. We started up something we call Team 4, but it's a small business unit, so if all you need is your tax return done, we've got a little business unit that just kicks them out really quickly, and you don't get all the frills and bells and whistles, but you don't pay a lot for it either. We do pricing up front, so when the work comes in, we price it before we start the work, and then we do it so you know what you're getting. We did a lot of work with Dave, and quite a lot of work with Dave, trying to find out what our customers thought of us, and that was really, really frightening. That first feedback we got, we kind of all sat down with glum looks and went, oh, in fact I won't say what we said, but now we do that same work in a different way, but we get different feedback. So we did a lot of work about what people thought of us, what they wanted us to do, and then we did a lot of work with our staff trying to find out how to get them there as well. And so it was, who are our customers? The stuff Dave was talking about before. We actually worked out who our customers really were and what they wanted from us and what our brand had to look and feel like. So we did a lot of work in that initial period after the OMP program on that. But it came out of the learnings we had at the Owner Manager program. And so our business now looks quite different to what it did. And we're kind of optimistic that going forward it's going to get better and better and better. The second thing that I learned on the course was to think strategically. Like, we're all bogged down in our business. Every day we go there and we're so busy we think about what we have to do today, or maybe tomorrow if we're lucky, but never about what has to happen 6 months out or 2 years out or 3 years out. And most of us, we probably all in business, we go away once a year and have a business planning session, and we're all locked away in a room and we plan what we're going to do for the next year. But we only think about it once a year, so we're not very good at it. And the thing that the ICEHOUSE course, the Owner Manager program, taught us was that we're there every month for 3 days. We're talking strategically for 3 days every month with lots of other people who are talking strategically. And now you can't help but think strategically all the time because you get into the habit, you learn to think strategically. And I think that's a really, really big and important point for everybody that's in business, is to get out of that doing mode and get into the actually thinking about your business mode. And once you get in the habit of doing that, it doesn't disappear quickly, but you have to keep topping yourself up with a bit of inspiration by talking to these guys again and again and again. And we've got pretty good at doing that now, so that we keep getting challenged about where we're going and what we're doing, and that's great. But the third thing that I got out of the course, and that's the most important, the biggest and the best part of it, is a network. And we were very, very lucky with our Owner Manager program. There's 20 guys and girls on the course. It was almost 4 years ago that we were on the course. We still get together at least twice a year for a weekend somewhere. We've been to the Chatham Islands, we've been to Nelson, New Plymouth, Queenstown, Ratahi, Hastings. We've done all sorts. And when we go away, we might go whitewater rafting or skiing or something else, but we also sit down and have some business sessions. We talk about our businesses as a group. We help each other with problems that we're having. And anyone that's having problems, members of our group will fly down. I know one of the people in Christchurch was having some fun the other day, and one of our Auckland members flew down and was a sounding board for them. And we do that as a group still. So when we have our weekends away, we probably still get 15 out of those 20 at each of the sessions. And every one of our group has been to at least 1 or 2 of those sessions somewhere. So we keep staying in contact and we stay in touch with each other. We work together. We get together at Christmas as well. And we have a support network that was, you couldn't pay money for a support network like we've got. And it's not just those 20 people either. We've now got 400 other members, or probably 500 now, members of the Owner Manager Program network. And it's funny how once you've been an Owner Manager Programmer, I don't care where they are. If I know they're an OMPer, I'll ring them up and say, hey, I've got a client that needs help with this. I hear that you might be okay. You say, I was on OMP 18, and they say, oh, that's fine, what do you want? And I've done that. I had a guy wanted to know something about a bus company the other day, and we just rang up the Pavloviches because they're ICEHOUSEans, and it was fantastic being able to just link people. And I don't know the Pavloviches, I just know they're ICEHOUSEans. So it's a huge network, and it's a really, really powerful network. And if you don't learn anything else on the whole course, that network is worth millions of dollars to you. So that's kind of me, but it was fantastic. I can recommend it, and I've put one of my partners through the course already, and I'm going to put another of them through, and probably next year as well, because it's worth every penny of it.